Thomas Mario Borrow King presents. Podcasts are not considered interviews. I get it. But I'm figuring out if I can do an interview podcast episode for tonight. Today's special guest is a longtime friend of mine. Yup, the same man I've met since the mid-90s. And we still do hold up pretty quickly. His name is Jonathan-Peterson Holland.
Well, what do you know? This is the first time I managed to have a very first appearance on this podcast, for an interview, as requested by yours truly. However, the main topic of this podcast, as I requested, is something to do with the Samuel Oliver Andrew arc.
For more context, I suggest watching the latest episode of Kevin Hartman's funny Windows XP errors that premiered last week. But that control freak again? Jeez. Is he really about to barge in and try to invade the studio again? Or is it something regarding himself? Who knows when?
It seems more like the latter, Microsoft Sam. It's his backstory I'm talking about. We already know what made you act like the way you acted before, but it's not about you, but it's more about Samuel Oliver Andrew. The reason why Samuel Oliver Andrew became this way is because he was illiterate when younger.
Wait, what? So you're telling me all these problems is because he was not proficient in reading and basic skills when he was in his developing years?
That's right, Sam. However, what you just listed is the tip of the iceberg. Considering that there are several reasons for his actions. I just got a message from his uncle, who is currently at least in his mid-50s. The name? Samir Neil Rhodes. He has sent a message through contacts via Gmail. And I think it's quite interesting for you to read that message.
I quite remember Samir well. But would you mind if you can just send me the message Samir sent to you through Gmail just after this interview?
I do not really mind. But anyways, Samir first pointed at how Samuel Oliver Andrew, his nephew, was not performing in his grade level, with Samir claiming that his teachers were shocked of how badly Samuel performed during classes, with Samuel getting some suspensions and him once getting expelled for having a 3 out of 60 on his test, causing him to switch schools.
A 3 out of 60. Haven't I seen that before? Now, the school system is very different from what it used to be back in the years before the mid-2000s, especially during the old neglect era. With that man saying it better than I ever could, honestly.
I'm a former teacher and now parent, and I realize that the new neglect is a lot worse than the old neglect. Does anyone else remember what neglect looked like 30 years ago, before the internet? It looked a lot like kids having to figure out life by themselves, on their own. It meant they were by themselves a lot. It meant they probably learned a lot from siblings. It meant they learned a lot from the older kids that were around them, because they had no one guiding them, so they were just looking at the things in front of their faces and in their neighborhoods for guidance on how and what to do. But as we know, that's not what it is anymore. Because now all that figure it out time is spent here. And it's about figuring out this. And it's about being exposed to things on here that are not meant to be exposed to for children. And this is the battle that then happens at schools. Because in the past, those neglected kids could be influenced by teachers in school, by learning the importance of learning in schools. But now, kids are learning from whatever and whoever on the internet. And they are influenced by millions of different things, and everyone in totally different ways, and we wonder why kids are not doing well mentally?
Exactly. The school system right now is very different from the times we graduated from school. But that's only a part of the problem. The next thing I need to point this out is how Samir considered Samuel's mother illiterate as well, with his mother not knowing how to read and teaching him how to read as well. using her learning disabilities from her youth as an excuse.
And that, right there, is a recipe for disaster. Having an illiterate mother and not being taught basic life skills during his development. Now I can clearly see how Samuel is acting the way he does.
I'm not kidding you. Samir literally wrote everything Samuel's mother said about Samuel not being proficient in reading and basic life skills. With him even writing what she said in his Gmail contact message. Mind if I take the read?
You may. I don't really have that much knowledge for what Samuel's mother said about his son and her past learning struggles.
Anyways. Ahem. She said, unquote, my 9-year-old can't read. He said he could not read the first page of a children's book, so he had to ask a friend to read it for him, and now I'm seeing that the reading is going to everything else, with his last meeting making us switch schools this year. He also got his reading score for the beginning of the year and it shows that he needs reading intervention on weekdays. I didn't even learn to read until I was like 10 or 11 since I have my own issues. How the fuck am I supposed to teach him how to read? And now we're forced to spend $40 to $70 on tutoring for him per hour. Of course it was never about the money.
God. That woman at that time should have been able to at least read by then. No wonder why Samuel became such an illiterate piece of junk.
And that's how Samuel became illiterate and an homicidal dictatorial maniac. Now, I don't want to stall your time, so the floor is yours, Sam.
Well, I appreciate the support. Anyways, into the news with Jack Sanborn.
Thank you, Microsoft Sam. Anyways, this is the Microsoft Talk News. I'm Jack Sanborn. Endless Mario Bro King has officially confirmed a new series, called Crazy Curtis in the Courtroom. Inspired by Taylor Enterprises, the Xavier 456, the ICG, and others. The intro was made by Current Ballers Discord server member Nathan Wilder and planned by Dennis Rutherford. Speaking of which, the song, Curtis Craziness, used as the series' main theme, got banned from the Mackie Music single charts due to the song being admittedly generated by Suno AI. Anyways, this has been Jack Sanborn reporting.
Great report. However, if the song was banned from the charts, then the only time you'll hear the song is, as if you buy the single or, if you watch the episodes. Which will be coming soon. Anyways, end of the episode, everyone. See you later.
What the hell you doing? You're supposed to cue the end credits, dumbass.
You idiot, haven't you heard of taking the time? Those things take like forever or something.
I literally just finished this news report. This is what I get? You guys really need to get a goddamn fucking grip.
Fuck. What do you mean by, unquote, these things take forever? It's not like we're directing a movie.
Will everyone just shut the fuck up and leave already? It's starting to become fucking midnight.